me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god. Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top.
Welcome back to the Juggernaut Show, everybody. And today I got a reaction video to do for you guys. So it's going to be WWE sponsors that are in a bad place and are a mess. So, recently there's been a lot of buzz going on about all the sponsors everywhere, just that Money in the Bank. How we had the Fireball ladder and now we got the Slim Jim, logo on the tables. You got the sponsors everywhere, all over the map. So, there's just been an uproar about it. So, we're going to be reacting to this video. The original video is down in the description below, so you guys can go check that out. And the channel is Come Wrestle Some. You definitely go subscribe to this channel. Make some really good wrestling content over there. You will not be disappointed. But let's jump into this reaction and let's see where he stands with this.
I think we need to have a little chat regarding how WWE is currently turning itself into a bigger commercial than what it used to be. Obviously when Vince was in charge, there were a few things where certain segments were sponsored by whatever. Snickers, presented WrestleMania and all this kind of stuff. But recently, when they got bought by TKO a couple of years back, things started happening which...
Yeah, he brings up a good point. Like how Vince, there were sponsors, like, oh, this WrestleMania is sponsored by Snickers, or there's always gonna be sponsors. But when you're going this heavy into it, when you got all the at the beginning, when they debuted on Netflix, like when I saw the ring mat, I saw the Saudi Arabia stuff, I saw the all these different stuff. We saw, Prime and stuff on there. All these different sponsors. I didn't mind it at first. But I feel like it's just getting a little too much at this point. But let's see where it's talking about. But with Vince, he didn't like anything on the mat. He didn't like any sponsors on the mat. The mat is sacred. So if Vince was still in charge, there would definitely not be anything on the ring mat.
A lot of people were a bit like, do we really want to see this happening? And obviously we are talking about sponsorships, and don't get me wrong, when you see a sponsor in the middle of the ring, it's like if you're a fan of boxing, MMA, kickboxing.
Yeah, we see this a lot in, other sports. We see this, like I said, or like you said, in boxing and like, UFC, where, we see a lot of sponsors. So, that's like really nothing new, like in the world of sports. And even in like football and even in like basketball, there's always going to be sponsors because, at the end of the day, they want their money. They get the money from the sponsors.
Any other type of combat sport, hell, even, NFL, NHL, football, everything else, there's always sponsors. Always. But this seems to be going over everything else, apart from NASCAR, maybe. Now, again, obviously, being a Brit, being Welsh, we don't really have NASCAR over here in the UK, but what we do know about NASCAR is obviously how much sponsorships go for, and that a car is literally just plastered with them. And that seems to be the way of WWE and how it's moving forward. If we're going to look at something, we want to see something that is engaging. We don't want something that is an eyesore. And to be honest with you, a lot of the promotion that we've seen from WWE, perfect example for me is WrestleMania. That ring looked god-awful. You had...
Yeah, that ring did look god-awful. You got Fatal Fury there in the center, and you got Slim Jims over here. You got Cricket 5G. You got, what's that, Clash Royale. Or, you got all these different freaking sponsors. Like I said, if Vince was in charge, he would not be putting up with this.
Like Fatal Fight or whatever it was in the middle, and you had all these other ones, and it looked tatty. It didn't look great. but they've seemed to have gone above and beyond to make things look more nightmare than, oh my god, this is a dream. So let's take a look at this. So this is actually from Outkick. WWE looks more like NASCAR as Slim Jim sponsored tables are introduced. I can already hear Pat McAfee.
Yeah, the Slim Jim sponsored tables. I mean, look at how terrible that is. And watch them have like sponsored cages, and like you won everything. Like you got, oh, you definitely know what side they're going to be coming out on the cage. Like if it's sponsored, like they have like a sponsor by something. The wrestlers are going to be going down that side to win. Because when I was watching Money in the Bank, I saw that fireball ladder. Like, oh yeah, I definitely know the winner. They're going to be climbing that. And then of course you got the Cash App on the Money in the Bank briefcase. I mean, these sponsors are getting way out of hand for TKO.
John Cena goes under the ring, pulls out the Slim Jim table, brought to you by everyone's favorite meat snack sticks and jerky. Excuse me. Try the new hot barbecue flavor now in convenience stores everywhere. You can't make it up an almost parody-like situation. Adweek has announced that WWE and Slim Jim have extended their partnership that will now see the famous beef jerky both as a center ring logo sponsor as well as being featured on all wrestling folding tables for its Raw, SmackDown, and NXT events.
And then somebody getting slammed through a table doesn't want to make me go eat a Slim Jim. Go like, I need that beef stick. I need that beef stick after somebody goes through this table. No, that just makes me want a Slim Jim even less. But yeah, it's crazy.
And obviously we got this guy by you who's put this out, which is absolutely hilarious, but it actually looks something like they would probably do this. And you're going to see people go through these, like, oh my god, gone through the Slim Jim table. Why? There's literally no need to have this on there. And
or even,
just going back to the actual...
Or even on commentary, them saying, oh, they snapped the table, the crazy stuff that commentary says, stupid puns. But yeah, very, very dumb.
Article. It does say, man, it's absolutely insane. That bloody wrestler going through the table is really putting me in the mood for plastic meat sticks, but I'm not sure why. This is in addition to plenty of other sponsor logos and images around the once fabled blue canvas, the ring, as the WWE continues to look more and more like a NASCAR driver's race car every passing week. This has been the case ever since its new TKO partners took over majority control of the promotion, as well as a massive Netflix deal that kicked off this past January. That's another thing I want to bring up. So, when obviously Netflix, everything else here in the UK, SmackDown, everything is on Netflix for them. When you're on Raw and you're watching it, you actually hear, Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, or whoever's on commentary at the time. They will start stating a ad sponsor. They'll start talking about it, and Netflix cut it off. And we found out the reason for that. It was because, well, if Netflix are cutting them off, it's because Netflix does not get a penny of that sponsorship. Excuse me? Netflix, you are the ones who just paid an obscene amount of money to TKO and WWE to have their flagship shows, and then NXT, their PLEs, everything on that platform. But because you're not getting a penny from sponsors, you're muting the actual content that you paid for. Make it make sense.
Yeah, that don't make any sense there. That does not make any sense at all. Whoops.
But as you can see by here, it does say, though, extending our partnership during Monday Night Raw will give us more opportunities to create unique and memorable experiences that tap into the rich history and energy of both Slim Jim and WWE. VP and GM of snacks at Conagra brands. But the thing is as well, you got Slim Jim. It is going to be the main logo in the mat for Monday Night Raw, and I believe some PLEs, not every one. But like I said, WrestleMania this year was an absolute nightmare of a ring mat. It looked disgusting. And you got boy there, the beautiful sport we all love is gone. LMAO, there are going to be so many table spots moving forward. Exactly. I suppose that's one thing we can look forward to, that they're going to put a lot more people through tables. I'll take a Slim Jim over Logan Paul's Garbage Prime any day. Thank God for AEW and Stardom Wrestling. Yeah, but you can see, Prime, they were the first ones to do it. WrestleMania 40, it was them. But as it does state there, all future PLEs going forward.
Yeah, WrestleMania 40 was the first one to have, the Prime bottle in the center. I'm like, okay, that's okay to do it. But, at the end of the day, this company, TKO, they want to get, they get their money from their sponsors, which, I mean, you could do that in a different way. They can get their sponsors a different way. And also, the amount of ads you see on Netflix is just crazy. Like, I want to watch wrestling. Like, to be honest, I'd rather watch Monday Night Raw back on USA and, have it be the full 3 hours. Because at least I know, we're not getting plastered with all. I mean, we still get a lot of ads on there, but not as much as we get on Netflix. Because Netflix, it is so many ads on there.
They weren't for Mania, so it may have just been for the 1 year. But listen, as a huge and lifelong fan who has worked for some of the biggest wrestling-related media entities, this stinks as much as a Slim Jim left out in your car on a 100-degree day. Sure, I understand that the promotion's parent company, TKO Holdings, is primarily driven by bringing in as much revenue as possible, which is very true, we've seen all of this. But it sickens a lot of people because when you have all the LED ring surroundings on the LED boards on the ring now instead of what it used to be, which was the aprons, which the aprons used to look awesome. They used to have so many specialized ones made. It made each event seem special.
Yeah, I mean, he's making a good point with, ring aprons. I used to like having, when they had all the stages and stuff, different stage designs, but all you could do, you just need to have now is the LED board, and then you can put all the graphics on there as you want. So, I mean, they're kind of getting lazy with their designs. Because, like, WrestleMania this year, their apron, it looked pretty garbage. It did not look that good. The ring apron did not look that good. It was like a black ring apron. I mean, they just gotten a lot lazier with designing things. But, yeah.
Special in its own and unique way. For me still, the WrestleMania 17, 18, 19, those ring aprons, they looked awesome. And now it's just LED boards because, well, for one, it's cheaper. They can put whatever brand they want on it. They can literally just say, all right, Snickers on it. Or, if we go back to WrestleMania this year, put Clash of Clans on it. Why? It has gone the way now too much, I think, that TKO, they do not see WWE as entertainment and all that kind of stuff. They just see it as another entity which they can make money off. That is literally
Yep.
it. And that's
he got a good point.
Because with WWE, even though when Vince was running the place, it didn't exactly look great, but some of the matches were amazing. And there's none of this, right, we're going to have logos over every single bit of the arena where, oh my God, this guy just used a Slim Jim packet on someone. There was no plugs for commercials. And like we said, it does seem to be now that WWE is literally nothing but a commercial with a few wrestling moves sprinkled in. That's what it feels like at this moment. I just hope that, well, they see that this is turning a lot of people off. Especially with the prices of these events as well now. What was it?
Yeah, the prices for tickets. Oh my God, TKO. One thing I did enjoy, when Vince was running it, is tickets were pretty affordable. And you gotta think of like us wrestling fans. We're not the top of, not the, the most wealthiest people. I mean, there's like a small percentage of people in there, but we're like, your middle class people. And also them not doing as much house shows, some people who didn't have, like really a lot of money, they went to those house shows, people who couldn't get to Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. So, it's kind of unfortunate with that as well, with ticket prices being so damn high, so damn expensive. it's like we're not made of money over here. Us wrestling fans are not made of money. Like I said, there's a few, but a majority of wrestling fans are like in the middle class. So that's one thing I did enjoy about events is tickets were pretty affordable to go to, or shows were affordable to go to. But yeah,
It SummerSlam this year for the 2 nights. If you want a premium front row seats, it's like 40 grand, $40,000.
yeah, you're gonna be selling your soul for for that ticket. $40,000. Nah, I'm just gonna be doing a watch along on the Flex Zone podcast. You won't catch me at SummerSlam, especially being out there really hot. No, you won't catch me there.
Just to sit front row and watch something which you can watch front row from your own home and save 40 grand. It's absolutely ridiculous to see how much prices have gone for these tickets, but that's going to be another video for another day. But folks, let us know what you think about this down below, because, well, it's absolutely terrible. It's disgusting to see that they think now that these people, the ones who watch wrestling, the ones who love wrestling, they'll just see it and they'll just, yeah, look at this slop. Because that's exactly what it is. All these advertisements do not need to be center ring or splattered around the place. It wouldn't surprise me if we see ladders being, sponsored by Home Depot or some stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather have the ladder be sponsored by Home Depot than sponsored by Fireball. Seeing somebody climb up a ladder like with Fireball plastered over it doesn't make me want to go drink a Fireball. A cinnamon whiskey Fireball. That doesn't make me want to go drink that. Or someone grabbing the Money Bank briefcase and it has Cash App on it. Doesn't make me want to go use Cash App. But at the end of the day, TKO, apparently, they're on a whole bunch of debt, so that's why they got all these sponsors, and that's why all these ticket prices are crazy, and that's why they're going back to WrestleMania. That's why they're going back to Las Vegas next year for WrestleMania. It's just, I don't know. Let's just go back to the old days, the early 2000s, because man, that's what I miss. I miss the simple wrestling. But yeah,
Like that. Let us know down below, folks, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, that was my reaction video, guys. Definitely go subscribe to his channel. Makes really good content. Go down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of these sponsors. You guys like them? You dislike them? Let me know. And also let me know what reactions you guys want to see on my channel. I'm definitely going to be having more on the way. Go follow me on all my social media platforms. Go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheTrueJSB. The link will be down in the description below as well. Also, go follow me on TikTok at The Juggernaut Show. That will be down in the description as well. So definitely go subscribe. And this is your boy Juggernaut saying peace out. And I will see you guys in my next video. So peace.